Hello, I'm Steve Weber, the host of Beatles Rewind. Good afternoon, everybody. It's October 27th, 2025. As always, I'm joined by my co-host and fellow Beatlemanic, Cassandra. Cassandra, can you turn down your Spotify for a sec? Turn on your mic.
Hi, Steve. I'm ready. Go.
Okay, we've come up with a good angle today. We're talking about the top 12 books about the Beatles. These are everything from lyrics to biographies, memoirs, the straight skinny from you meter, the insiders. We've got it all.
We really do. A mountain of stuff.
Also, for anyone who wants to take a look at these books right now or when this audio is over, just visit us at BeatlesRewind.com.
Yeah.
You'll see the books and the descriptions, the links to Amazon, if you want to get even more down into the weeds, right, Cass?
You're so right, Steve. Enough housekeeping. Let's talk about the books.
Oh, Cass, well, I guess the logical place to begin is with book number 1, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, our whole goal here really is to give you a kind of shortcut, a way to get genuinely well-informed about all this Beatles literature without reading, well, everything.
Right, there's so much out there.
Exactly. So we've pulled out the key insights from these 13 essential sources: memoirs, reference guides, the big biographies.
And we're starting with the band's own voice.
We have to. That's book 1, the Beatles Anthology.
Ah, the big coffee table book. Everyone knows the photos.
Yeah.
But its real value is as that primary source for the whole 90s documentary project, isn't it?
That's exactly it. It's their official autobiography put together by Paul, George, and Ringo using John's words from archives. It sold millions because it felt like hearing directly from them.
Yeah, very conversational.
Very. But the really interesting thing when you read it closely is noticing how often their memories don't quite line up. They actually contradict each other sometimes.
Which is a lesson in itself.
A huge lesson for anyone studying their history. It's intimate, definitely, but you can't treat it as purely objective historical fact.
Okay, so for that objective history, the academic gold standard, it's book 2, Mark Lewison's The Beatles all these years. Volume 1, anyway.
Oh, yeah. And it is a gold standard. Even just volume 1, covering up to the end of 62, it's monumental. Lewison is like a historical detective.
Forensic is the word I heard you use once.
It fits. His research is just unbelievably meticulous. He uses thousands of sources nobody'd seen before, and he's actively correcting myths we all thought were true.
Like what? Give us an example.
Well, a key thing in Volume 1 is how he completely reframes their origins. He goes deep into the social background, the economics, their families, their parents' lives.
Wow.
And he even found documents proving the date John and Paul first met wasn't the one everyone cited for decades. It was slightly different.
That kind of detail really makes you question everything you thought you knew.
It forces you to, yeah. And that's just his biography work. His other major contribution is Book 3, the complete Beatles recording sessions.
The technical Bible.
Absolutely. This one's legendary because Lewisohn got this incredible access to the actual EMI studio logs and tapes.
So if the anthology is what they remembered playing...
This book tells you exactly what happened in the studio, day by day, take by take, from 62 to 70.
Amazing.
It details things like, the technical hurdles they faced using just 4-track machines right up until 68, every overdub, every bounce track. It shows how they essentially invented modern recording techniques.
Incredible. Okay, so we have the official story, the objective facts, the technical details. What about analyzing the music itself? That brings us to Book 4, Ian MacDonald's Revolution in the Head.
Oh, MacDonald. Yeah, this is a cornerstone. If you're serious about the music, you need this. It's a critical analysis, song by song, for every official UK release.
And not just like chords and time signatures.
Oh, no, much deeper. He discusses the musical structure, sure, but also the recording process for that specific song, and crucially, the cultural context.
How it fit into the 60s.
Exactly. He connects songs like A Day in the Life to the sort of existential mood and the political shifts happening then. He treats pop music as serious art, which it was.
Okay, shifting gears now from analysis back to personal stories. After the breakup, different narratives emerged. Let's get Paul's side with Book 5, Barry Miles, Paul McCartney, many years from now.
Right. This one's key because Paul cooperated fully. It's basically his authorized biography, almost an autobiography, through Miles.
And it was important for him to tell his story.
Hugely important. It came out when the narrative was still very John-focused, left over from the 70s and 80s. This was Paul's chance to push back.
How so?
Well, he offers his side on songwriting credits, insisting Yesterday was all him, for instance, and really emphasizes his own experimental side and his creative drive, which sometimes got overlooked.
And that John-centric narrative you mentioned, we need to talk about where that partly came from. Book 6, Philip Norman's Shout. The Beatles in their generation.
Yes, Shout. A massively influential book, huge bestseller, came out not long after John died in 81.
But it's controversial now, right? It has some baggage.
It definitely does. While it shaped how millions saw the Beatles for a long time, scholars today are very cautious about it. It's widely seen as having a strong pro-John bias.
And anti-Paul.
And quite a negative portrayal of Paul, yeah.
Hmm.
Almost unfairly so, according to later research. You kind of need to read it to understand the history of Beatles' perceptions, but read it critically.
Okay, so if someone's new to this and wants the whole story in one go, but maybe wants to avoid the bias of Shout and isn't ready for Lewisohn's trilogy.
Then they should probably grab Book 7, Bob Spitz's The Beatles, the biography from 2005.
The big one-volume history.
That's it. Spitz spent almost 10 years researching it, pulling together tons of information. It's comprehensive, covers the whole career, doesn't shy away from the tensions and rivalries. It's a really excellent all-in-one starting point.
Good recommendation. Now let's rewind again, back to when things were, well, maybe simpler. Book 8, Hunter Davies' The Beatles, the authorized biography from way back in 1968.
The original. Indispensable because of its timing. Davies got this unique, exclusive access to all 4 of them and their families in 1967.
Right in the middle of the Sep Pepper explosion.
Exactly. So while it is authorized, meaning it was probably cleaned up a bit,
Sure.
it captures this incredible snapshot. Their home lives, how they wrote songs then, the whole vibe of that peak moment. It feels like 1967 in a way no later book can replicate.
But that vibe didn't last.
Mhm.
The next book is the polar opposite, really, the raw aftermath. Book 9, Lennon Remembers.
Oof, yeah. John's interviews with Jan Wenner from Rolling Stone in 1970, just after the split.
And they are intense.
Intense is putting it mildly. It's raw, angry, brutally honest. John was hurting badly, furious at Paul, frustrated with everything. He just lets it all out.
So, historically important, but
But you have to see it for what it is, an outpouring of intense emotion at a specific, painful moment. It's crucial for understanding John's mindset then, but it's not objective history. It's pure feeling.
that tension again. Feeling versus fact.
Hmm.
Okay, moving from raw emotion to someone stuck in the middle of the studio trying to capture the magic
Yeah.
and the arguments. Book 10, Jeff Emmerich's memoir, Here, There, and Everywhere.
Emmerich, yes, the engineer for their most groundbreaking stuff, Revolver through Abbey Road. His book gives you that unique perspective from behind the mixing desk.
What kind of insights does he offer?
Amazing technical details, for one. Like, he talks about the sheer difficulty of recording something like Tomorrow Never Knows, literally inventing techniques as they went.
Wow.
But also the human side. The struggles to keep the peace between the band members and between them and George Martin, especially in those later strained sessions. It really humanizes the whole process, shows the friction behind the genius.
And speaking of looking back, Paul did that recently in a huge way with Book 11, The Lyrics,
Yeah.
1956 to the present.
Yeah, the big 2-volume set from 2021, it looks like just lyrics.
But it's way more than that.
Oh, absolutely. It's effectively Paul's creative autobiography. He uses 154 of his songs, Beatles, Wings, solo as jumping off points to talk about his life, his relationships, the whole journey.
So it is his most comprehensive statement.
Definitely his most recent, most reflective and structured by him through his art. An instant bestseller, and you can see why. It's Paul defining his own legacy.
Okay, we've covered genius, tension, reflection. But what about the sheer chaos that pulled it all apart? That seems like Book 12, Richard DeLello's The Longest Cocktail Party.
Right. DeLello, the house hippie at Apple Corps, a true insider.
So this is the messy business end.
Totally. His memoir is all about those final crazy years, focusing on the Apple Records, Apple Corps mess, the bizarre business deals, the hangers-on, the paranoia, the excess.
That's wild.
It was wild. His book captures that dysfunction brilliantly. It's a candid, often funny, fly-on-the-wall account of how the whole enterprise just spun out of control, essential for understanding the breakup dynamics.
And finally, we can't forget the man who arguably made it all possible in the studio. Book 13, George Martin's memoir, with a little help from my friends.
Absolutely. Sir George Martin, the fifth Beatle, for real. He was the only constant presence besides the band for basically every important recording session.
So his perspective is unique.
Utterly unique. His book gives you that view from the producer's chair. It's essential for understanding his massive contribution, the arrangements, pushing them experimentally, translating their ideas into sound, especially during that Slet Night Pepper Peak.
Okay, wow, that's quite a list. 13 essential reads. Looking back at all of them, what's the main thing you think someone listening should take away?
I think it's understanding that fundamental tension in Beatles literature. You've got the need for those intimate firsthand stories like the Anthology or Paul's lyrics.
Right, the personal connections.
Yeah, but then you absolutely need the objective, fact-checked history you get from someone like Lewisohn. You need both.
And you need to read them knowing they might conflict.
Exactly. That's the challenge and the fascination. You put Lennon's raw pain in Lennon Remembers next to Paul's carefully crafted story in many years from now. They're both true in their own way, as expressions of feeling or perspective, but they're not the same truth.
And then the insider books, like Emmerich on Recording or DiLello on Apple, they add another layer.
They humanize it all. They show the struggle behind the magic. Emmerich wrestling with primitive gear, DiLello describing the office chaos. It reminds you this incredible music came from real, messy, brilliant, flawed human beings.
So no single book has the whole story.
Not even close. This whole stack is like a roadmap.
Yeah.
You need the official view, the scholarly view, the technical view, the personal views, even the angry views to piece together the full picture.
It's a complex picture, but what a picture it is. This deep dive should definitely help navigate it.
Hope so. And it leaves you with a fascinating thought, doesn't it? Given how much the personal stories from John and Paul can contradict each other, does the really objective truth lie more in the technical details? You know, Lewisohn's session logs, Emmerich's descriptions of what physically happened in the studio. Because maybe, just maybe, the music itself is the one thing that doesn't lie. Something to think about.
Well, thanks for joining us today.
Always a pleasure diving into the Beatles universe. Farewell for now.
Until next time, when you listen.
Your mind conducts its own symphony.